And now we are being joined by a political technocrat, Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Good morning and welcome to the Newspaper Review. Good morning, Mr. Kayode.
Nice being with you.
It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you.
Now, let's look at this particular story about Mr. Isa Ali Pantami and the calls for his resignation. I believe you are quite aware and you have acquainted yourself with that particular story. What's your take on it?
Yes, Krumale, I will give you an analogy based on what some people are saying, that now he said it before, but he's now reneging on what he said. No. It has to do, anybody's utterances
Dr. Kayode,
has to do with...
I think he apologized. That was it. Go on.
Some people are saying he said it while he was younger. He said it while he was younger. What I'm saying is, all this thing has to do with DNA. Your name, when you were younger, was Krumale Joseph. You have grown your DNA. Look at it. If, for instance, sulfuric acid and water will always be water, H2O. Do you understand? When H2O changes to acid, it is still the same water. But if sulfuric acid changes its name to water, can you take that water? No. He is what he has been, and he will be what he is forever. What I'm saying is, he is what he has said. Let him resign. And you can see what I said the other time, that in this government, we have people that are protecting these bandits. If
Dr.
he is in that position, how do you think we can be arresting all of them? And this is Pantami holding a sensitive position.
Hello, Dr. Kayode.
Whereby he's collecting.
Hello, Dr. Kayode. Yes, let's go to the next story. Now, that particular statement you said about in this government, there are people protecting the bandits. That's unacceptable. We won't take that particular statement. However, let's go to one of the positions that the presidency painted when they said they were going to stand by Mr. Ali Pantami. It said the presidency ordeal in the hands of those calling for... The president said Pantami's ordeal in the hands of those calling for his sacking is not about his utterances, but about his current job as the Minister of Communications. Don't you think that particular statement means that some people are trying to unseat the senator, but using what he said some 20 years ago as an instrument to remove him from power so they can have their way?
There's no doubt about it. As a minister, they're supposed to have checked his background before now. But leave it as it may be. I will advise Mr. President to allow this guy to resign so that it will clean the name of Mr. President away from what people have been suspecting before now. They should remember, I said something. When people were clamoring for change of service chiefs, and I said, either we change service chiefs 1,001 times, if the president doesn't change his philosophy as gas security in this country, it will be the same thing. So the issue is, let the president, please, relieve this guy of his position, because he's also holding a very sensitive position whereby he's gathering the data of all Nigerians.
Okay, Dr.
President to clean his name, please let him relieve this guy of his position.
Okay, there are some allegations that some ICT companies have been charged with activities of fraud and corruption by virtue of the fact that Mr. Pantami, in his current position as the Minister of Communication, is working, and because they don't want to be culpable, or if Mr. Pantami continues in his stead as the minister, those particular ICT companies will be implicated. So they were trying to cancel him using this particular instigation and what he has said some 20 years ago. Don't you think that will hold sway?
Whatever it is, even if they release Mr. Pantami now, somebody else will be there. And those ICT companies will still face the wrath of the law if truly they have stolen Nigeria's money. But the issue is this: whatever he has done in the past, is now a shadow of what he can do now. It's now shading him. That shadow is now following him. It is a lesson for all of us, that whatever we do today will always be a reckoning when the time comes. 20 years ago, these are the things Pantami did. Now the thing has come to the fore. Let him face it squarely by himself, without anybody protecting him. Whether any ICT or not, all those people, they will also face their own at the right time.
Okay.
So
let's look at the House of Representatives. Currently is mooting the debate of Mr. Pantami's case concerning the president removing him or he resigns. Where do you think this will lead us to?
Yeah, and that is what I'm saying. If to say we are having a National Assembly that is really, really independent of making its choices, by now, I don't think Mr. Pantami is supposed to be where he is. Both the Senate and the House of Reps supposed to have come up with a unanimous decision to get this guy out of that sensitive office.
Now, a lot of persons have equally said that Mr. Pantami occupies a very, very critical position, being the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, and that Nigeria does not really stand on its footing because of the utterances he made some years ago. How can that statement that he made some years ago jeopardize or threaten the information and the data that are in the position of the ministry where he occupies?
There's no doubt about it that is going to affect not only that office, but the nation as a whole. Because if he had made all those submissions in the past towards Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other terrorist groups, between you and me, who is now saying that those people will not be getting national information that is supposed to be sacred to our national development? Who is saying they will not collect such information from him? So for us to be on the safer side, let him resign, or you take him to a ministry that is highly inconsequential to our growth and development. Where he is highly sensitive to our safety, security, growth, and development.
All right, Mr. Kayode, let's move away from that particular discussion. Let's move away from that discussion. Let's go to something else. Recently, the president of Chad just died, and Mr. President, while condoling with President Muhammadu Buhari, while expressing his condolences to the country there, Chad, says that the death of Mr. Deby will affect the fight against terrorism in Africa. Of course, we have heard cases where light weapons have been moving across the border to different parts of African countries, of which Nigeria is not an exception. What position do you think the Ministry of Defense and the relevant security agencies, what do you think they should be doing now, most especially concerning the Nigerian porous borders, where rebel forces say they are advancing the offensive to the capital of N'Djamena?
Before the death of this man, has our borders not been porous before? It has been. Series of things have been happening within our borders. So if somebody is now saying because of his death, our borders will be porous, I don't want to think so. Chad is such a very, very small country to Nigeria. Is Chad up to Kano State? I don't think so. So we just need to beef up our own security and then learn from activities of that dead president. Because most of the time, he is always in the forefront, leading his troop against the terrorism. So let our leaders too borrow a lead from him by leading our troop against terrorist activities in this country.
Okay, many thanks for joining us this morning, Dr. Kayode. But I believe the presidency has been leading the fight against terrorism in the country by putting some persons in position that is taking the fight to the bandits and terrorists at the front burner, where we are having terrorists contending with Nigerian forces. But lastly, I would like to have your statement. Concerning the speech that the Minister of Defense said that Nigeria is currently bleeding as a result of banditry, farmers' elder clashes, IPOB activities in the southeastern part of the country, where we have cases, though, of unknown gunmen burning down police stations and attacking security formations. What's your take on that?
Yes, it's very, very right. You should have been following me before now on Facebook. You will have been seeing some pictures of Nigeria depicting a weeping country that needs help. Nigeria needs help. Where is that help going to come from? He's just using another word that is bleeding. It's not only his parents that is building.
I have a little challenge of sharing you
economically,
clearly.
it's building culturally, it's building socially, it's building in all.
Move on. I might have to move on, but nevertheless, thank you so much for your time this morning in the newspaper review. It's good to have you this morning. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Oyinpriye Krumale. Thank God it's Friday. As they say, do have a splendid weekend.